Budweiser, the king of beers, presents KINER'S Korner. KINER'S Korner is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, with that clean, crisp, cold taste. Nothing beats a Bud. And by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. Mitsubishi, the word is getting around. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome to KINER'S Korner, and the Mets with their second consecutive win. Another fine pitch game, this time by Bret Saberhagen, and we'll be talking to Bret just a little bit. Mets winning by a score of 6-1, and we're going to have the highlights of the ball game just before we talk to Bret, so here we go. In the bottom of the first inning with one out, runners at first and second base, Bobby Bonilla, the batter, and Bobby comes up with a base hit off Bruce Rufkin. And the single to right field scores Tony Fernandez from second base. Tony had reached base on a walk and went to second on an error. So the Mets leading 1-0. And then in the bottom of the second, Tony Fernandez singles up the middle, scoring Dave Gallagher and Todd Huntley. And the Mets have a lead of 3-0 in the ball game. In the bottom of the third with one out, the bases loaded. Todd Huntley hits a smash back to the middle. It's knocked down by Ruffin. He throws late to the plate, and the Mets have another run. They pick up another in a wild pitch, and then Eddie Murray singles to right field here. And it was Scott Aldred on the mound at the time, and the Mets get their fifth run of the ball game and lead 5-0 as Vince Coleman comes in to score from second. In the top of the sixth with one out, pinch hitter Jim Tatum gets the first hit of the ball game off Bret Saberhagen to break up his no-hitter. And then this, the only run of the ball game and the only run of the series for the Colorado Rockies, a home run. It's hit by Dante Bichette, and it's the only run for the Rockies in the ball game as the Mets win it by a score of 6-1. So Bret Saberhagen, the winning pitcher in the ball game, doing a great job. The ball retrieved by Alan Ashby, and it will be brought back in for the archives as the final out of the ball game is picked up by Mac Maddox as he strikes out the batter, and it's a 6-1 win for the New York Mets. We'll be back with Bret just after this message from Budweiser. Well, the Mets winning by a score of 6-1, and we have as our special guest Bret Saberhagen. Bret, I don't know why we're having you on the show, because you're the only Met pitcher this year that's allowed a run.
Unfortunately, to the expansion team, so I'll go down the record books for something at least.
First run given up by a pitcher to the Colorado Rockies. You'll be in their history forever.
Dante hit a long ways, too.
I guess the win on top of it.
You don't mind giving them up as long as they're legit. That was definitely a legit home run.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the fact you had a no-hit, no-run game going, and, of course, no Mets pitchers ever pitched a no-hit, no-run game. You were into the ball game in the fifth inning when the base hit was picked up. Was it too early to think about it, or are you just trying to do the job?
I think all pitchers realize whether they've given up a hit or not, and at that particular time, I knew I had no hitter going, and got a fastball up and away to a guy that got his first major league hit, I believe, off me. So
no, it was his second. He had one with Milwaukee.
They took the ball away. I don't know why they took the. It seemed like every time they get a hit or something, they're taking the ball off.
Well, they're going to take a lot of balls away, it looks like, because it was the first pinch hit, I guess, for the Rockies, and that's one of the reasons why they took it away. Let's take a look at that base hit. Right here, it's one man out, and we're in the top of the sixth inning. Here's the pitch. Fastball out and away, went with it.
Fastball up and away. I don't know why Bobby didn't catch that ball.
He was playing too deep.
For it.
You should have told him to move in. You know, one of the things about one of the comments that we read about, and I certainly agree with what you said. You don't really worry about the book on the other batters. It's the other way around. If you throw the pitches you want to throw, it doesn't make any difference whether they could hit low balls or fastballs or curveballs or whatever. And the book really is on you. You're a power pitcher, and you throw that way.
Well, Todd came up to me today with the lineup, and he said, "This is the way we threw him the other day." I said, "Todd, don't even worry about it. Let's put down the right fingers, and I don't have no complaints." So he's called a good game again today.
Let me ask you about how you felt about your stuff. Now, your first game with the Mets was in St. Louis last year, and you came out and they really rocked you. And of course, it was your first experience in a regular National League game in this league. So, how about your comparison to two different starts?
Night and day. It's a lot better to go out and get a win your first time out rather than get beat up and having to look forward to the next game. You look forward to the next game, but not the way after a loss.
You know, you have, because you have great stuff, there's no question about it. Fastball, curveball, threw a couple of changes today. You don't use that too often, but after a real good spring, you finished up strongly. You really came out smoking today.
I think Doc took a lot of pressure off me yesterday. It's an expansion team. You expect to go out and beat the expansion teams. If you don't, I think you're going to be down in the standings. That's just the way it is. I think their hitters are a little bit better, not than anybody else, but they're better than their pitchers. Their pitching staff usually struggles on an expansion team. And so Doc going out and throwing a shutout and getting the first one on the board yesterday was a lot of burden off my back, because if we lose yesterday to an expansion team and we come in today having a chance of going 0-2 to start the season, Mets fans are going to be upset. The Mets
everybody's going to be upset.
So
That's
Doc
right.
took a lot of pressure off me today.
Well, you had great stuff out there, only 2 hits while working 8 innings. One of the real professional hitters is Andres Galarraga. Let's take a look at you working to him in this ball game. This is a good fastball here.
Yeah, that was right after Bobby Bonilla misplayed a fly ball up in the wind to right field today. And as it turned out, the first inning, you don't want him to get on the board, especially after a miscue. It kind of brings the team down, so I wanted to get the next hitter, and I threw a pretty good fastball. It was my only strikeout of the day, too. So.
Yeah, but it was at the right time, a runner on third base, and at that point in the game, no score, so you certainly wanted to get him out, and you had a movement on that ball looked real good.
Yeah, it was down and away, and I think Andre liked this ball a little bit in, so we're just trying to keep the ball away and keep it down away from him.
Let's talk one little minute here about your odd-even syndrome that you have going. Odd years have been great years for you, and the even years have not been. Does that bother you at all, or is it just something
Not this year.
So far, not this year, huh?
This year it's supposed to be a good one, so we'll have to worry about breaking that up next year. I don't know. It's in the record books, and it's kind of pretty much gone that way. It seems like something happens to me in the even number of years. For the most part, it's been injuries. I've pretty much stayed away from injuries in the odd number of years, so I'm looking forward to keeping that true to form this year and worry about breaking it up next year.
75 wins, 30 losses in odd years.
It's not too bad.
Well, that's a very odd record right there.
I'm 1-0 so far, and an odd one, too.
You'll take it. Well, Brett, great pitching and off to a great start.
Thanks, Ralph.
Brett Saberhagen, and we'll return right after this message from Mitsubishi.
Frustrated lawyer, ready for a man.
Reach out and take what you want.
A homicidal convict, ready for anything.
I dreamed about you last night.
A passionate lust they couldn't control.
You gotta get me out of here before I kill somebody else.
And a daring escape they couldn't avoid.
Come on, run it!
Stephanie Zimbalist,
You crushed a man's skull.
Alec Baldwin.
Let's make love again.
You won't get caught unless we screw up.
Love on the Run. Sunday at 8 on Channel 9.
Well, the Mets winning by a score of 6-1. They have won the series against the Colorado Rockies, winning both games, allowing only 1 run in the 2 games to Colorado. And our sharp pitcher of the year, and this goes back to 1992, receiving the award out here before the ball game was Sid Fernandez, who is our sharp pitcher of the year for 1992. And Sharp's Brian Dietz was on hand to congratulate Sid. So we'll congratulate him right here. Sid Fernandez, the sharp pitcher of the year for 1992. Well, the Mets will be taking on the Houston Astros in a 3-game series. First night game will be Friday night at the probables for that series. Mark Portugal going against our sharp pitcher of the year, Sid Fernandez, and that game will start at 7:40 on Friday night. Saturday afternoon, it'll be Drabek, who lost his first start for Houston, the Cy Young Award winner, against Cy Young Award winner Doc Gooden, who won his first start against the Colorado Rockies. Then on Sunday, Swindell will be going for Houston. Swindell also losing his first start after going to the Houston Ball Club. And Frank Tanana will be on the mound for the Mets, making his first start in the National League. So that's the probables for the Astros series coming up Friday night. The Mets have tomorrow afternoon off, and also tomorrow night, obviously. And then it'll be Houston before they go on the road to play the Colorado Rockies and the Cincinnati Reds. Once again, the final score, it's the Mets 6 and the Colorado Rockies 1. Budweiser, the king of beers, has presented KINER'S Korner. KINER'S Korner has been brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers. With that clean, crisp, cold taste, nothing beats a Bud. And by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning